Welcome back. I'm here, joined by Ben Stark, replacing Eric, while Eric gets a little break. Ben, I see you still don't know how to make a bed.
I think making beds is one of the silliest and most useless things in the world. That is one thing I expect to never make a bed before I die.
I actually, my bed upstairs is unmade because you're just going to get right back in it. I literally only make if someone's going to see it. So like if I'm going to be on camera, I'd make it, but I'm not going to make my bed in general.
Exactly. Why would you go through effort to make your bed harder to get into? How does that make sense? Come on. We're gamers. We have to think logically, right?
I just had to give you some smack. So let's talk about your deck. What happened in the draft? I mean, your deck's not awful, but I mean, obviously it's not optimal. I know you take pride in drafting good decks. And what's your opinion of your deck? How was your
My deck's not good, but it's not good at all. But I was in a really, really tough seed. So I first picked Channeler Initiate, and then green was clearly not a color I was seeing. And I didn't draft any more green cards. I started drafting like some black and white. I had to take the red, black, gold card third because I knew that I'd sent 2 red commons to Matt, so I couldn't let him get the 4-2. And then I was going to try and draft red, black, but I wasn't really seeing red either. Like white felt like the color I was really seeing. Come pack 2, I open a green rare, not a broken one, but a good one, Prowling Serpopod. And I felt like it was the best card in the pack, and I knew Paul was green, so I'm like, okay, I'm hating this. Then I get past Champion of Ronus, which is a great green rare. I think that card is broken. So I'm like, I can't pass this to a green player. So I take that, and now I've got 3 green rares and 3 total green cards, right? So I'm like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do the rest of this pack, right? But like, if I keep seeing green from Matt, I'm going to take the green cards and play green so I don't give them to Paul. If I don't keep seeing green from Matt, then I'll just move back off green, even though I have 3 good green rares, you know? Because I knew I wasn't going to see green in pack 3, you know? And then I saw a decent amount of green in pack 2 the rest of the way. So I was, and a lot of times, and this is really important, this is really different in team draft than regular, right? What matters is if it's the best card in the pack, right? Because I'm not looking for the open color. I'm looking to not be passing better cards to somebody than I'm taking. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I kept seeing solid green pack 2 from Matt, you know, who's red black. So I was like, I'm not going to ship this all to Paul. So I drafted green in pack 2. Come pack 3, I'm looking to play green white. I open the 7-mana mythic black rare that's unbeatable. Like, I can't pass that. Like, I can't pass that to Matt. Like, I'm not going to have that be in Matt's deck, right? So now I'm like, all right, I guess I'm playing green, white, black, you know? Like it's not my intent to go, like, straight 3 or to be, like, you know, necessarily 3 colors. I mean, I drafted 2 Evolving Wilds pretty aggressively, knowing that, you know, it's team and I might be more likely to play 3 or splash. But the way the draft broke down, my choices were basically either pass good green rares to Paul or pass a good black rare to Matt or, you know, work with what I could in the seed.
So what happened with the white trial? Because, I mean, I think that's, you know, I heard you also agree it's one of the best cards in this draft.
Yeah, so actually that pack I think was pretty deep in white. I didn't think it was going to be great in my deck because I'm not a Swarm deck. I'm like a mid-range green deck. And I didn't think Matt was white, so I thought there was a chance that he would either have to hate it or get to my teammate. So I felt like, I think I took Dustwalker over it. I took some other, because if you look at my deck, I don't have good 2-drops, and I'm not a Swarm deck at all. So I felt like the trial, I would still play it, but I felt like it would be mediocre in my deck. Whereas I felt the Dustwalker offered me more, and I didn't think the person I was passing to, Matt, I think, could play the trial. So I thought it made more sense for me to take the Dustwalker and send the trial upstream.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're 100% certain Matt's not white, or as close to as 100 as you can be, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% certain. I'm not 99% certain, but I was drafting very heavy white in pack 1. So I was, you know, 80 to 90%, you know, and it's not like if I hate that trial, like let's say I take the trial, he just gets a Dustwalker if he's white. So, I mean, you know, trial's better than Dustwalker, but it's not a world of difference. And in my deck, I really felt like Dustwalker was better. Like, if you look at my deck, like I've got all these 3 and 4s and good late game and a sloppy deck, and I'm not a rush deck. I'm not an aggro deck, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm most curious as to how, I think Paul passed it to you, right? How Paul passed it to a white player. I'm trying to think of, I have to look at the draft viewer to see what he took over.
Right.
But.
We talked about that, and I think that the real reason was because the pack was just so deep in white, it's kind of the same thing. Like, if he hates it, then I'm just getting Dustwalker anyway or whatever.
I mean, I think the power level in those cards is such a huge gap that, like, white trial can make or break a match. I mean, the card is just so absurd. Luckily, your deck couldn't take advantage of it, but I think that could have been really awful for us if you had, you know, a proper curve-based white deck. It could have just been game over.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I think White Trial is a lot better than Gustwalker, but I think in that case, when you're going to hate a white card that, let's call it an 8 or a 9, and there's a white card, let's call it like a 7, then there has to be nothing great for you. Like if Paul got a first pick quality card that's worse than Trial, then I think that's a reasonable pick. Now, if Paul took even a solid card I like Splendid Agony or something, I think that would be a bad pick. I think you go out and hate the Trial, You'd have to look at what Paul took first.
He took Black Cartouche.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not what I would have done. He should think I'm white, and he also doesn't know that I don't have this low white curve, because he passed me a lot of white pack 1. That was the only color that I felt like I saw consistently. So, I mean, yeah, I'd probably hate the Trial, but I'm sure his logic was just the pack is filled with good white cards. So if I hate this Trial, Ben's just going to get a good white card anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed. We had a conversation this morning, and I was like, do not pass White Trial. So, I mean, the pack has a lot of white in it. It has Oketra's Attendant and Tall Crop Elite. But like I said, I just think the card is so far and above everything else that it could have ended up being a disaster. Luckily, it actually did not. But then I think if he takes it, then you end up taking a Gustwalker, and then Matt needs to just take a normal card for his deck. Probably
that. Matt gets the Black Cartouche probably that Paul first picked.
Yeah, which ends up actually being great in this deck. But looks like the players are ready to go, so let's check it out and see if Matt can pull it out and extend this and get us to a match 8. Right, so looks like Matt won the die roll, which is the key for me for having him win this match, and he gets to start out with the Bloodlust Insider on turn 1, so he has the start that I needed him to have to keep this going. And Luis's draw, he does have what's a great 2-drop in this matchup, is the Skirmisher, because you get to rebuy it, and he does have Essence Scatter, which is also amazing. But let's talk about his 4 and his 5-drop. If he gets to the mana, he does have Electrify and Glorybringer, so hopefully Matt is able to get on the board fast enough where Glorybringer can't save him.
Yeah, and Matt's deck is really aggressive. I didn't think I passed Matt this good of a deck, but he really put something nice together with all the cheap, moderately playable, aggressive cards.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too happy about it. I was disappointed, but after seeing it play out, it plays out a lot better than it looks.
That's kind of how I felt too. Like after the draft, I was like, wow, I don't know what Matt's deck's going to look like. And then, when I saw it playing, I was like, well, he has a good curve. The cards kind of work well together. I think he did a really good job drafting the seat when, I was pretty aware of what I was passing him and trying to make it hard on him. So here, of course, Matt has to be the aggressor. If this game goes long, Luis is definitely going to win. But Matt's going to be way ahead after this turn. So, I mean, what do you think his chances are like?
It's rough because he's got to get him low, but then Enigma Drake comes out with 4 toughness. You can't really get past that. He's got Essence Scatter once he gets that, that board position blocked behind Enigma Drake, and he can do that plus Cycle to get it up to a power to trade with a guy. And then he just gets the Glorybringer, and Matt's hand doesn't have much stamina right here, to get past this initial, it's just going to get, he's going to get Luis down to 8, and then what? Right.
I mean, that's the problem, with aggro decks, just basically across all of time, their main way to lose is just flooding out. I mean, they don't use land 6+ very well. Matt does have the Exert creature here, though, so he does have the ability to loot through some of these lands and try and find, some removal.
Yeah, and depending on what he draws out the loot, I might actually like to see him just use the Splendid Agony, although you could say just develop the board and use it later.
So, well, yeah, I agree with you. If he drew a land off that loot, I would probably use the Splendid Agony, but now that he drew another 2-drop, you just dump your hand, right?
Right, yeah, he gets to play both 2-drops and leave the Splendid Agony back for whatever happens next turn. And he just basically nullified that Essence Scatter, which not really going to find a time to be used. He gets to keep open Electrify or Essence Scatter plus Cycle.
But, right, and of course Luis is hoping to win this game with Glorybringer, so it's basically just about blocking, electrifying, getting through this turn, and then slapping down one of the best cards in the format and killing another creature.
It's pretty brutal for Matt. Prowess is going to get him to cast the Agony in combat probably, which might allow Luis to electrify the. Okay, Luis is going to go ahead and blink first. That's good. If Matt wanted to get that, if Luis just waited and Matt wanted to get that damage in, he could have, Splendid Agony in combat.
Well, presumably Matt passed to Luis, right? I mean, I'm not saying...
We have deck list also.
Yeah, I'm not saying the plays were right or wrong, but, presumably Matt made the good play of not casting it first, of passing to Luis, and then Luis was like, okay, I'm not going to take an extra 2 damage when, I'm in the control route here in this game and cast his Electrify. If it went down like that, I would say both players played optimally. Nice play by Matt by passing and not casting it, but Luis is right to cast his Electrify there, I think.
Yeah, this is actually pretty exciting. So he's going to be able to get him down to 7. I predicted 8. And play another creature, but if Luis draws a land here, he drew a guy, which is actually perfect. Because if he drew a land here and didn't have a blocker, he was just dead. He's going to just die to that, the Manticore, if Matt can sneak it in through the Essence Scatter. It's unfortunate.
Right. And this game is going to be super tight because, Luis is getting low here. He's going to get to untap that Glorybringer. He should be able to maybe take control. But, I mean, he's going to be at, 2 or something, right?
Yeah, so let's see. He blocks on that guy, takes 5. He goes to 2 if he exerts.
He's definitely going to exert. Otherwise, the 2-1 can't attack into the 1-3. So I guess he's going to end up blocking the 2-2 probably and taking 4. And so, I mean, he's going to be at 3 life. 3 life with an untapping Glorybringer, but, Luis still has to deal with these creatures.
I mean, Glorybringer's going to deal with it. It's a question if he's going to run into the Essence Scatter or he's going to hold it. Obviously, I can see the hand, so I know he should hold it, but there's a lot to say with you're at 20, you're not really facing anything and try to find an opportunity. You do have deck list, and he has Essence Scatter on his list.
Do you know how many he has? Does he have? If he has 2, I could definitely see not casting. If he has 1, it's a close play.
Ooh, Matt passed the turn. Ooh, now this could be bad. Luis could just attack, eat, and play both his guys.
Yeah, and if he does, great job by Matt, stealing this game. Luis definitely should attack with Glorybringer, and eat a creature. The question is whether he taps out to play both or whether he leaves the scatter open here and just plays the 2-3. Both plays are reasonable.
I feel like there's no reason why you would. This is ridiculous. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but this is. What? How do you not play your blockers against
We have deck list too. He doesn't need another blocker. He's facing 1 creature. He knows that Matt has that mana core in his deck. He doesn't know what's in his hand. But you got to remember, if this is a Grand Prix and sealed deck and you have no idea whether someone has a mana core in their deck, you're tapping out here every time, right? But if you know for a fact your opponent has a mana core in their deck and you've taken over the game with a Glorybringer, why do you got to tap out and risk losing to the 1-outer? This is just good magic. I think Matt made a good play holding it up, and I think Luis made a good play also holding up the scatter. I mean, Luis is going to have 3 blockers to 2 here. He's pretty comfortable. He could definitely afford to make the play he made.
Yeah, but also if you're going to hold it up the turn before, then what do you like? If you're going to wait the turn, then he should have cast the first turn. Like this turn didn't get any better. He drew 1 extra card. Like if you're not going to hold it up and try to find that opportune moment or to right before you die, then he should have just done it the first time. Like what changed in that 1 turn? He still had the same.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying why did Matt cast it the next turn?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think Matt's logic at this point was that Luis clearly took over the game, so he was going to be able to leave the 2 up forever anyway. So better to try and win the game in case he didn't draw it. I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but I don't think the logic is bad, Right. Because, I mean, look, Luis only had the 1 extra turn to top deck it. Maybe Luis didn't have it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, once you see that Luis was able to play a 3 and leave 2 up again and really take over the game with scatter up, then Matt says, all right, now I'm going to make you have scatter, I actually kind of like it. I'm not saying it's 100% optimal. It's a tough play. It's a close play. But I actually kind of like the way both Matt and Luis played that game.
Yeah, I just feel like the Matt should have just gone for it the first time if you're going to go for it the next turn.
But, I mean, look, by not going for it there, he gave Luis the opportunity to play 2 creatures. What if Luis, instead of a 3-mana card and a scatter, what if Luis only had a 5-drop? If Luis's hand was 5-drop and scatter and no 2 or 3-drop, he probably taps 5, puts the twins in play, and then Matt gets to cast the mana core for the win.
You're right. You're right. I'm just a little sad it went down the way it did.
Well, this is the only time ever we do biased commentary, right? Like, I'm glad it went down the way it did. You're not happy it went down the way it did.
It's like, what the hell? Come on.
But honestly, I think both players played that game excellent. I think that was like a really, really well played game. I think Matt passing and not casting the agony, so Luis used the electrify, which I think was correct. I think both players really played that game very close to perfectly. So, of course, sideboarding, Luis wants to lower his curve if he can, take out any aggressive cards. You saw him immediately drag that limits of solidarity out because, Matt's trying to alpha him, so he's not trying to steal creatures. Looks like Matt has to be in the opposite role. Matt knows he's an aggro deck in every matchup, but in this matchup, he knows, he's got to end this game quick, and he's on the play for game 2. So I assume any sideboarding would just be to lower the curve and to try and go under Luis's deck.
Well, we've got a good curve again, but Magma Spray plus Glorybringer means this is over. You guys have defeated us 5-2.
Well, I mean, Glorybringer is one of the best cards in the format, and Magma Spray is one of the best cards to have in an opening hand against a deck like Matt's. I don't know if the game is over, but yeah, I definitely like Luis's chances. I'm not going to argue with that. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Luis doesn't have a 2 here, does he? So that kind of undoes the Magma Spray tempo. And then, if Matt can get going, and then Luis is just going to put out a creature a turn from here, we'll see what happens. Of course, Luis is a favorite in this game. There's no question.
Yeah, the chat's pointing out that specifically because Matt didn't loot, also it kind of tipped off something was up, and maybe Matt had looted the land away. It kind of looks like he's not. It makes it look more, and then he can maybe draw a land next turn. Makes it look less suspicious.
Right, what 2 cards is he holding? But I agree with that. That's very astute. Whoever said that in the chat, very very well observed. But that said, I really do like the lines they took. Since you have deck lists, Matt forces Luis to be able to play a creature and leave Scatter Up, and then once Luis can do that and correctly not tapping out, leaving Scatter Up, he basically has that game locked or very close to it. So I really think I actually like Matt's line. I would probably do exactly what Matt did. But that said, very astute.
You would not have looted either?
I don't think so. I think that you're in a situation where you're not worried about tipping Luis off the slightest bit. You're just trying to say, Luis, if your hand is a 5-drop and a scatter, you're casting your 5-drop. If your hand is a scatter and a cheaper creature, I lose. You know what I mean? And if you don't have the scatter, I'll win next turn. I'm just giving you 1 extra draw step, Yeah. So I really think Matt's line was actually optimal. But that said, that is an interesting point for sure. So Luis doesn't have double red, right?
Yeah, but we don't really have an offense, and I don't think we're going to be able to get that offense before he gets the second Red Mountain in his deck,
Yeah, no, I mean, Luis is still in a great position. Of course, he has a 5-drop and then a 6-drop, that's even a tempo-positive play. But, Glorybringer is the one that would really seal the game and put Matt, on his back foot and unable to recover. If Luis just continues to draw islands for the next couple turns and Matt is able to, find all creatures in removal, maybe a black cartouche to return that trial, this is... Like I said, Luis is clearly a favorite in this game. Nobody's debating that. But there's a good card for Matt. So what do you do if you're Matt? He has a lot of options. Do you just attack and exert everything and dig through your deck? I don't
know if you want to. Both those cards I think are going to be key for him winning this game. He's going to need the stamina to survive through a Glorybring, and he's going to need that Manticore to kind of get that last damage and give it haste.
So you exert the 3/2, making the 4/4 unable to block, and you don't exert the 2/2 because both the spells in your hand are good and you don't want to discard them.
Yeah,
Makes perfect sense.
I don't think you want to discard either of those cards right now.
Yep. Whoa, okay, so he made the 3/2 unable to block, so he's basically tipping off Luis that he has something, but he'd rather take out the better creature.
Because
that's interesting. Yeah, given he's not looting away his cards either, I think it's pretty unlikely it's a bluff, and we know he has double supernatural stamina. So that's an interesting play, because this time, if I were Matt, I would have probably just been happy enough to clear the Thresher Lizard with the stamina. But, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know which play is better. That was definitely an interesting choice. Because, he did tell Luis that he has supernatural stamina in hand, basically. And, Luis heard him and didn't block. So, do you like that better? Do you think this game is better for Matt now? Or would you have rather just, had Luis block with the Lizard and you use the stamina and so on?
No, I think you want to hold the stamina. I like Matt's play here.
Got to be able to clear 4/4 so you can keep attacking with that 3/2.
Yeah. This is rough. I'm trying to think of like your spray can get rid of the lizard, but you don't want to attack this turn. So you can, if you want to get the Manticore on the board, I think you want to sneak it in there and give it haste. So I think ideally right here you want to play this Scavenger and then Magma Spray into turn, untap, hopefully draw a land. You could Manticore, haste, attack, and Supernatural, but he's going to go this route.
Yeah, that was I mean, it wasn't unreasonable. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. Matt has so many options. I mean, he could have played the 2/2, given it haste, and then use the stamina and taken out a 4/4 flyer. What he did was definitely not unreasonable. It looks like Luis is going full blown aggressive. Is Matt dead here?
Yeah, Matt is dead.
So it looks like basically. I mean, Matt just got ran over. He did draw a lot of spells at the end, but Luis's more powerful cards just basically easily cleaned up the game when Matt like kind of stumbled a little in the middle of it.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Tough draft. I mean, your decks are good. Looking at the deck list, I feel like if we played this best of 9 over and over and over again, with these decks, I feel like it's very close. I don't think the 5-2 really reflects it. I think even if our decks are a little bit better, on average this would be 5-4, and I'm not even saying our decks are better. Your deck lists are good.
Oh well, thanks for the drafts. Good games.
Yeah, you too. It was fun.
Luis clearly got lucky to open a Glory Bringer, but I think Luis totally earned the Angler Drake. And like over the course of the draft, that Angler Drake was probably more important to any of his matches than the Glory Bringer was. So,
can anyone hear me when I talk?
I thought Luis did a really good job drafting. He basically figured out he was the only blue drafter at the table. Well, what he figured out was there are no blue drafters at the table. He moved into blue. He looked at a pack where there was an Angler Drake and a Drake Haven, and he just declined. He's like, I don't need to take this because they're going to table. So he took a Magma Spray out of that pack. Both the blue cards came around. He was completely right. He gets an Angler Drake for his deck. Just perfect masterclass in how to draft. So I think there was some luck involved. I think there was some skill involved. And there was definitely some victory involved. So thanks for watching, guys. That's going to do it for this week. Come back next week when we will have Gamers Helping Gamers with one Mr. John Finkel playing against the limited resources of Marshall, Kenji, and Hal. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you next week.